Be alright.
Right, we should start.
Together. Okay, here we go.
It's on.
Hey guys, we're here again with Beyond Brains. Bringing you episode 4, and today we're going to be
dealing with conflict.
Exactly, that's the topic, dealing with conflict today. And
why did we pick this topic, Inka?
Basically, we picked this topic because both of us, we've had a week that this topic has been so prominent to, and it's kind of been at the center of our week, and we just felt like this was the right one. We had decided on something else, but we just felt this was just the right time for this one. And you might be feeling, oh well, you know, I'm in a good relationship with my boyfriend, I'm in a good relationship with my friends, we're having a good time, we don't have any problems right now. But I tell you, this topic is relevant to anyone, regardless of whatever situation.
Everyone will have conflict in their lives, and I hope your one is far away in the future. But
absolutely.
For sure, you're going to have conflict.
You're going to have some. So, you know.
These are some tips that we learned over the past week. You know, it's a coincidence, though, isn't
absolutely,
it?
Absolutely, it's a coincidence.
And then he's had to deal with his own as well, but... You know, some tips that we've learned, and hopefully we can help you guys.
Exactly, and we're still learning as well. We don't know all the ways to do. We're just gonna give you what has worked for us, and just hope that you learn something from it. So
that's where people are gonna think we do weed.
They're gonna think we smoking weed with Bob Marley on. Okay, so first thing, how do you react? Someone has just done something which has angered you. How do you react to it? Exactly. What do you have to say?
I know straight away you'll be angry, okay, and you need to control that anger. As difficult as it is, trust me, and he knows from me, it's very difficult to control it. But you need to sit down. You need to go into a quiet area by yourself. You need to see the different perspectives. You need to understand. You need to be honest with yourself. You know, if you made a mistake and people are reacting to a mistake you made, you need to acknowledge that you were at fault to an extent. However, if you don't believe you made a mistake, you have to see why would the other person have done such a thing. And you have to start seeing the possibilities. You know, that's step one for me.
Exactly. And in regarding to that, which he said is you have to understand that person's point of view. But to understand that person's point of view, the way you react goes a long way. Now, someone has just done something to you. You're angry, your heart is racing, as always, because you want to react, you want to lash out. Well, I can tell you now, and he'd agree, don't lash out. Because one thing I've realized is, whenever you speak or you do anything when you're angry, you tend to regret at least 90% of it. So what I say is, limit your actions, your words, to the bare minimum. If possible, none. And just take time to calm yourself down by focusing on your breathing.
Yes.
What are the
you know the people around you, the closest people to you, are the ones most susceptible to being lashed out at, if you know what I mean, because they're the ones around you. You're angry, you're holding in your anger, you want to lash out at something. Naturally, it's going to be, or more likely than not, it's going to be them. And those are the people you don't want to hurt. Those people are going to be there with you from now until probably the day you die. You can't hurt them. Don't hurt them by doing something so stupid. Just take it easy. Control the anger. Think
about something great, or just take your time. And it's really hard. This takes a lot of courage, a lot of strength. It's not the weak thing to do, but just take your time. Focus on your breathing and just know, because I promise you that would be the right thing to do. We've done this over and over again, and it's a guarantee.
Like for him, there are different ways. Maybe for you control your breathing, you manage your breathing, and maybe that's a good way. For me, I like to go on walks. People know that about me. I like to go walking, and when I'm out walking, maybe for other people it's the gym, or everyone has their own little niche.
Absolutely.
You need to get your immediate attention away from the conflict.
Absolutely. There's one verse which in the Bible which for me determines how I run my life, and it basically, and I think it's general and everyone kind of understands it generally, and basically don't be quick to anger. Always just be calm. People tend nowadays in today's society, there's it's kind of like been made into a virtue. Being angry, I'm just mess everyone up. I'm a lash out, and I'm a badass.
Oh yeah.
But don't just be slow to anger, because anger resides in the lap of fools. That's what And I think that's just something that resonates with me a lot. And every time in every situation, I try to, just keep my anger in check. So I hope that helps you.
Yeah. So when you go to the gym, when you go walking, this allows you. It takes, like we said, the immediate attention away from the conflict itself. It allows you to calm down, to think of the different possibilities you'd like to approach this conflict, the different possible consequences, and naturally, when you take time away, when you're calm, you're going to make the right decision, and the right decision ends up, with your happiness or results in your happiness. So at the end of the day, having an immediate reaction to something isn't ideal, especially when you're angry. Take time away. Think of the possible consequences. Think of how you want to approach this conflict. Think of what you want to achieve.
Exactly.
And more likely than not, you're going to achieve what you want to achieve if you're calm and if you're collected.
And there's a Nigerian saying, and I think every culture has got kind of like the same saying as well, that words are like eggs. The moment you drop them, you can't pick it back up and put it back together again. So just watch your words. Whenever you're angry, just be careful, because you might regret it. Then second thing, which I think is quite, a good tip as well, is maintain confidentiality. If you've got a problem with someone,
that's a very good point.
Try to limit it between direct contact between you and that person. Don't let other people get involved, because when other people get involved, rumors start spreading, and then it's harder to contain.
I think that's very true. You need to, if you have a problem with someone, that's always been my philosophy. If I have a problem with someone, my philosophy.
The philosophy, Louis Van Gaal. Definitely go on.
Shout out Louis. Louis Van Gaal's on me. No, thank God he's left me.
Yeah, what you were saying, philosophy.
My philosophy has always been to, if I have a problem with someone, to directly let them know that I have an issue with them, instead of going to maybe Yinka and telling him, Yinka, this guy did something I didn't like, and then Yinka would go and tell other people in his group, and then it just keeps spreading without me telling the guy. And that's not a good thing. That's not a good reputation.
Exactly. And even if you're to involve someone else, let it be someone else that you trust.
Big time.
Someone you trust, like a mutual friend that you trust. Like sometimes whenever, say, I have problems with other people and I feel, maybe I don't know it's right for me to just approach them, they might not take it well. I talk to Zach, say it's a mutual friend. I talk to him, he goes ahead, and then it kind of just works that way. But choose someone who's trusted. Don't just
choose someone won't
spread rumors or just go around telling everyone about it. Because the more people who know, then it gets hard.
If he has a problem, he tells me, and from, like in Arabic, we have a saying, from down under. So on the low, we deal with it without people even knowing.
Exactly.
And that's the same for him.
Exactly.
That's why whenever I have issues and I need an opinion, I go to him, and he helps me deal with it without anyone on the outside knowing. Which is what I like, because the last thing you need really is going into uni and people being like, that's the guy who has a problem with X, and that's
you don't need that drama. I tell you, you don't need it in your life.
Especially in med school, you have to be on the ball every week, and to take attention away from study and from what you should be achieving onto something so stupid is not going to help anyone.
Absolutely. Another point is learn to forgive. Do you want to expand on that? Do you have any?
It's gonna be hard sometimes, guys.
It is. It will be.
He put that down there.
I think I think it's such an important one, and I think
that's more difficult than holding in your anger.
Nelson Mandela.
You have to do it.
Exactly. Nelson Mandela once said, resenting someone is like taking poison and expecting it to kill your enemies. It's just the definition of insanity. So when you forgive, you're not doing it for that person. You're doing it for yourself. So just forgive. I'm not saying be stupid about it and not let them know.
You'll be surprised when you forgive, especially when you think there is no chance of forgiveness, and you forgive. You feel good about yourself. There's a viscerally rich feeling of goodness.
Absolutely.
So as hard as it is, I'm not saying if let's take an example where, I don't know, let's say Yinka had a girlfriend, his girlfriend cheated on him. Okay, you forgive, but you're not going to treat her the same way.
That's not a true story. That's not a true example.
Don't spread rumors, huh?
Absolutely. And I think, go on, you make the point.
He forgives, okay? He'll forgive her for doing that, but there's not a chance he will treat her the same way.
Exactly, because trust is damaged.
That's it.
Don't misuse trust. I tell people, I think people underestimate trust. When someone gives you their trust, it's one of the most expensive commodities you could ever think of. Because once it's lost, to gain it back
See,
it's extremely hard.
It's extremely difficult to gain trust, but it's so very easy to lose.
To lose it, yeah. It's
very easy to lose.
And I think people play around with, people's trust a lot, and I can't understand it. So I tell, if someone has trust in you, don't take it for granted. I think it's the most expensive commodity that is known to man, and don't take it for granted. Do you have any other point?
Completely agree with
Absolutely.
What you said.
Another point, and I think this is very more useful. I think in general situations, and I'm going to use kind of like an example or give the example for students of Sophia Medical University. So everyone is split into groups. You have groups like groups of 12.
Yeah.
Now, at some point, and I can guarantee you this, we've had this experience. I've had this experience. You're going to have conflict with someone in your group. It's a guarantee. At some point it's going to happen, whether it's a minor one or a major one. You're going to have conflict with someone in your group. Now, one thing I always tell people is try to be as selfless as possible. Because you have to think, sometimes you want to lash out. But when you think, okay, if I lash out now people are going to have to pick sides in that group. It's either I stick with Yinka or I stick with Zaki. Now you have a divide in the group. Shut the hell up. So now there's a divide in the group, and you've damaged group dynamics. And what do you have to say? Group dynamics is really the importance of group dynamics and academic success here.
If you have a united group, you'll be very successful, and that goes without saying. I think everyone knows that. If you work together as a team, everything will be much easier than working by yourself. Absolutely. And if those dynamics, like you said, are damaged, then you're going to create constant conflict within the group. It's not going to be, that's it, it's done. I've lashed out at this guy, I hate him now, and he's in my group. They have to take sides. Because sides are taken, conflict will ensue. It will keep happening.
Exactly, and it is it is such an unhealthy
like
environment
you need to be selfless. We both have experience of having to do that. As difficult as it is, you need to put the group ahead of yourself.
And I tell you guys, it's and when it's in the moment, it's kind of like, how can I be calm? You're gonna ask yourself this: how can I be calm? What are Zaki and Yinka talking about? This doesn't make any sense. I should just lash out, let people know, don't mess with me. I'm that kind of, that bravado, that kind of thing. But I promise you, it doesn't do you any good. Just be calm, and I tell you, people react to that kind of calm energy, and people tend to react positively to it. At the start, it might not seem that way. It might seem like everyone's gonna look at you as the soft guy, But I tell you, at the end, everyone's gonna come to you and go, Zaki, I like how you handled that. That's a good example.
Could be after a week, could be after 2 weeks, a month.
Exactly. But
they'll know, even if they don't say anything, they'll know the way you handled it helped the group out.
Exactly.
Don't expect people, don't deal with a situation expecting to be complimented.
No, at all.
Deal with it with what you believe is the right way, and the right way is never to lash out.
It's never the right way to lash out. So just be selfless. Keep that in your mind. Whenever you're in a situation, think about who are the people this is going to affect. My loved ones, my friends. How is it going to affect them? Because people tend to think of actions as individual things. That it's my choice. I can do whatever I want. But
people are being affected by
exactly.
Not just the person directly within the conflict. The people around it as well are affected.
Starts, whatever action you make kicks off a cascade of other actions. It's not just you have a responsibility.
Compliment system, shout out.
Compliment system to those who understand what we mean. First years you get to know it too. And then finally, as a final result, say you have someone who's been unreasonable. You've tried everything, you've been calm, you've done everything we just said,
right,
and you still get someone that's unreasonable. One thing I always say is, be ready to burn that bridge. Now be careful, listen to what I didn't say burn the person. I said burn that bridge. Burn the bridge, not the person. And do you have anything to say about that?
When you say burn the bridge, what do you mean? Because I'm sure people are going to misunderstand that. By burning the bridge means they'll probably think, okay, that's it, communication between us is done, we're not going to be friends, we're not going to be this. But how can you achieve that without lashing out or without saying something hurtful?
That's a very good question, man. Put me on the spot. Definitely. I think one of the ways, and one thing I always tell people is, no matter what's going on between you and a person, no matter what altercation you've had, obviously, if the person shot your mother, then you have every right to shoot him back.
I agree.
But but whatever it is, never stop saying hello. At the very least, one thing I would say is everyone deserves a greeting at the very least, and that's one of like the first steps to making, healing a relationship. Just that, you walk in, you don't have to be close friends and say to them, you walk in, oh, hello, Zach, you alright? How you doing? Hello, John, you good? That just there, and then you don't need to talk all day, but just that. You get what I mean?
That helps group dynamics. That's because naturally, if I'm a group member and I see conflict between you and someone else in the group, and I see you walk in and you're like, oh hi X, how's it going?
It makes you comfortable.
Like, it's fine.
Okay. Exactly.
We can carry on.
And everyone in the group doesn't feel awkward, because that's not good. Please don't do that. But if you have to burn that bridge, so to speak, so at some points do it, because sometimes letting go of someone can be like a slingshot to a next level in your life. Someone said something. He said sometimes moving up in life, there's kind of like a glass ceiling, and to get to the next level, you have to break through that glass ceiling. Now you might get bruised, you might bleed. Now that bleeding and all that is it might be friends, it might be family, it might be things you really love, but you just have to let it go to get to that next level in life. You have to let it go to get to that next level in life, and you have to be willing, to let that go when it comes down to it. But when you let it go the right way, because don't ever underestimate the ability of humans to change.
You're right. I was gonna say that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's it. He covered me up there.
I took the words out of his mouth.
I was waiting just to say that thing at the end where people could change. So never rule out that possibility.
Never.
But when it comes down to it, and that you feel that person isn't going to change, just let it go.
Let it go. Don't hold things up. Someone holding things up, it's like almost like a car without an exhaust. At some point, you're gonna blow up. So another thing I say is, if someone pisses you off, let them know straight away. If you don't let them know,
don't hide it. I've had experience where people come up to me after a few weeks to tell me, oh, you did something here that disappointed us or whatever. Tell me straight away if something happened, or within a day.
Exactly.
If you're busy, then.
Yeah. Or is it the girl?
Excuse me. No.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So
what was it?
Yeah, exactly. So don't just basically let them know straight away.
That's it. Don't delay anything. Straight away. If I do something, if he does something, because I'm telling you, if you do something that disappoints us, straight away we'll be letting you know. You shouldn't have done that. Not in front of people.
No, exactly.
Not in front of people. When you're isolated, when you're by yourself. If we can't isolate you, then
wait
by
for the right opportunity,
or by a phone call or something, just to let you know, okay, you did something here that I didn't like. Why did you do that? And we just reach an understanding.
And if you don't bring it up straight away, if you don't let the person know, let it go. If you can't let them know, let it go, because they can't do anything about it. If you haven't said anything, they can't do anything. But thing is, you get people who start to sum it up. Oh yeah, and then when the final one happens, it's like, oh yeah, just because I let that one go before, you did that, 2 weeks ago,
and yesterday, 3 weeks ago, and 5 weeks ago, and they're like, whoa.
I didn't know I did anything 3 weeks ago. Jeez. Yeah. And that just makes everything really toxic. So don't do that. Always let them know. And so what have we covered? First thing, manage your anger.
The conflict. We've covered the steps we've taken. So we manage the anger. We isolate ourselves. We
try
to involve third parties.
Confidentiality, absolutely. And forgive, and also be ready to burn that bridge, but don't burn the person. Now we've covered the situation when you're the victim, when someone has pissed you off. Now let's take it from the other point of view. What if you then look back and you've seen, oh, I did something wrong to someone? How should you react? What should you do?
For me, I acknowledge. Look, for me, I have a very strong inner critic. So whenever I make a mistake, I acknowledge it straight away. That I made an error here.
Absolutely.
And sometimes maybe from my perspective it's not clear. It's not a clear mistake. There have been times where I do something out with a really good intention. But then another perspective, which I wouldn't have covered.
Good point.
When people
Very good point.
show me, it's like, oh, you know, I should have. From that perspective, I can see how they would think I meant it in a negative way. So the way I deal with it, I'd accept that perspective because it's my fault for not seeing it before I did what I did.
Exactly.
And I would apologize. You know, you need to be honest with yourself. You need to understand and cover straight away if you're mistaken or not, even partially or fully. You know, if you're partially mistaken, then you know you have to apologize.
It takes a lot of like I always say, it takes a lot of strength. People think you're weak when you own up to your problems. One of my great maturity markers, which I found to work, is the ability for someone to let go of their ego and admit when they're wrong. For me, is right at the top for the maturity markers. That determines how mature you are. When you've done something wrong or you've offended someone, even though when you feel, oh well,
I meant to do something right.
You know, but that ability to just go, oh man, I'm just really sorry. I didn't mean it. I'm really sorry, man. Good, feel free. That kind of thing, I feel is just the highest, display of maturity. So don't feel like it's a sign of weakness.
It's never a sign of weakness. Actually, it's the contrary. I see it as a sign of strength. The strength from within to accept that you're wrong and that you're going to do something about that. It's not a weakness. A weakness would be to shy away from that because you don't want to apologize, to show that you're weak. Fear, that's fear. And already, because you're fearful, you're weaker.
Absolutely.
So that's the way you should be looking at it. If you're mistaken, you have to acknowledge it. You have to apologize. End of story.
Exactly. And why are we covering this topic as well? Another reason is because, as we always say, in medical school and generally in life, you can't go solo in life. You're around people. You need people. Now, some people you can let go of, but you always need people around you. You can't go solo in life. So, dealing with conflict is the way to make your life way easier. Way easier. So if you can master these skills, your life is just going to be so much fun, man, and you're going to achieve your potential. You're going to enjoy life. Enjoy life.
It's I know a lot of people, again, it's a mentality. Everything's a mentality. Everything you see and perceive is here. Okay?
Enjoy life. Don't resent anyone,
Just enjoy it. Enjoy the challenges that come with life. I know there are a lot of difficult moments, but surely overcoming those difficult moments are when you're most happy.
Absolutely.
So just look at the challenge, accept the challenge, and go for it.
Absolutely.
That's the fun in life.
And always, as Bob Marley would say, one love. Ciao. Talk to you soon.